Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we will see how to implement the get operation or the read operation from the Appwrite database, and we will continue with the uh, part where we left off. So this is the fourth episode of the Appwrite with Flutter series. So let's get started. Okay, so let's first understand what we have did in the last episode or last video. So if you see here, we have let me just restart it. Okay, so we have a splash screen, and in the splash screen what we have done, basically we are checking whether we have a logged in user or not. So if it is a logged in user, then we are navigating to the home page, and then we are adding documents and adding to do items or not. Okay, so and let's say if there is no user, it will go to the login page. Okay, we have a button here to log out. So if I do a logout, I will log out from this account. Okay, and then I can just do a login. So test@gmail.com, and password will be 1234567 8, and we will do a submit operation. Okay, so now you see we have the items out here. Okay, so let's check our database what we have. So here if you see in the database, we have a to-do data as we did earlier. So now here we have is done, which is false. This is the first one, and we are not using this. And then we have this test one. Okay, okay, so if you see here, is done is there, but this data, I don't know with which user it belongs to, right? So what I have to do basically is, in our document we have to add one more attribute, which is customer ID. Maybe I can say user ID. Yeah, so user ID is much better. And then I can select a type, which will be a string. Okay, so size I can give to maybe 1000. Default value is nothing. It is a required value because without a user ID I will not be able to get the data, right? So I will add this required. Okay, now let's go to the document, and what I will basically do is I will delete these documents. Okay, delete this, delete this. No, okay, before deleting it, I have to make changes here. So I'm adding a title, I'm adding a description, I'm adding a is done, I'm adding a created ad. So after that I have to add a user ID, and then the user ID will be um, shared preference. We have to get it from the shared preference. Now let's go to auth helper, and if you see here, we are setting the client code, right? So here I want to get it from the client. So sorry, I want to get it from the session. So what I will do is I will use this string, or I will use this key to get the session ID. Okay, so now let's do that. What I will do basically is, here I think I should have a function. So let me do that. Let me write a function, so which I will write as um, get session. So what it will do, it will give me the session ID. So now I will just use this class here, and I will write auth helper dot instance dot get session. Okay, so this function has to be, I have to remove this static from here. Okay, so I'll say get session. Okay, so I will get the client ID. Okay, so this is done, right? So let's add a new document and check whether it is working or not. Let's see if we have any error in our code. Maybe not. Okay, okay, so let's go to this, and I will write Tanmoy Tammy test. Okay, that works. Description 1. Okay, and then we will write, so it says converting object to an encodable fail instance future string. Okay, that's fine. So basically this function is a type future string. So what we need to do basically is we need to cut it from here. We will just do a string user id equals to this, and just we will do is await for it. Okay. Okay, so let's make it a nullable variable because this returns a nullable variable. Okay, and then I will just write user id. Okay, so that's done. Now let me retry. Okay, data added successfully. Let's go back to our database. User id mf. Okay, what is mf? I don't know. Client code. Okay, so I got the is done. Okay, I got mf, so I don't think then the client id is the correct one. So here I should do one thing is user id, right? Unique id, create user or get the user id. So we have the account, we do a login. So instead of getting this, what I should do is instead of saving the session, maybe what I should do is I should use user id, and then instead of client id I can just save uh, in case of create I can use the user id as the id. So I will just take this only. So here instead of id, here I will just write string id equals to this, and then I will use this id here. Then I can also add this id here. Okay, so this is the part where I do a sign up. Okay, but I need to also do this thing in the sign in. So instead of response dot client, I will say response dot user id. Yeah, got it. So here I can also do response dot user id. Yeah, that's much better because this thing will make it much more dependent on this code. Other than that, we also have the user, so I don't have to worry about that. So I will cut it from here. Adding a new variable is like, why to do that, right? So yeah, that's there. Okay, user id, no? So here instead of get session, I will write get user id, and then instead of session I will make it user id. User id. Okay, user id, all fine. User id. Okay, let's go to this part and say get user id. Okay, fine. So before we do anything, we will log out. We'll then restart. That is not required, but no issues. Okay, so our debug console is ready. I will do a login. So test@gmail.com. Password will be 1234567 8, and then I do a submit. Okay, I go to the add to do. I write add to do 1. Description will be description 1. Okay, add to do, added to do successfully. Okay, let's go back and check here. Okay, we have got our data, right? We have got the user id. So these things are not required now. I will just delete this and delete this. So if you see here, you can also edit all the fields here very conveniently, right? So you don't have to like double click or you have a separate edit button. You just go to this, and like in Firebase we have that, right? So you can directly change it from here. Okay, so now that it is working fine, what we'll do is basically now we will pull the data. So what we will basically do is after we do this, we will have a function which we will call to get the new list of data. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to use provider package, or we can use block, but I would say that you're using your if you're building a very small application, you can go with a provider because it is much easier to implement. So I'll just do is I will add a dependency which is provider. Okay, then what we will do is I will go to the main.dart, and here I will wrap this with a multi-provider. Let's wait for a few minutes. So I will just cut it from here. I will write multi-provider, 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 multi-provider. Let's see if it is here or not. Okay, we don't have that. Okay. Let's see if we have provider added properly or not. Okay, we have provider. Mhm. Okay, got it. Multi-provider, I will have a list of providers, then I will have child, and then I will paste the whole thing. Okay, so now what I will do is, instead of this, I have to add a provider. Change notifier provider, we don't need auth helper, I just need a to do provider. Okay, let's remove that. Let's see what we need to do here. We need to create this provider. So what I will do is I will go to this lib folder. I will create a new folder which is providers. Then I will have a new file which will be to do underscore provider dot, and then here I will write class to do provider extends change notifier. Then I will have list of to do. Okay, let's see what they have done. So it says list to do, add to do, remove to do, update to do. Fine. Okay, so add to do, we don't need that. We don't need update to do as of now. What we will basically do is we will write a function which will say get to do. Okay, and this function will basically get data from the repo or the database. So what we'll do here, we'll get a list to do equals to database helper dot instance dot get to do's. Now we will make this function. We will get this function here. I will write async. Now what we'll do is we will call we will get the data from the uh, database. So database init, fine. Okay, try. Then I can catch any error, and then I will rethrow as usual. Okay, user ID is, we are trying to get the user ID. Then we'll do database.list document database collection. Okay, now things to see. I will go back to my database, right? And in the database, so let me check what is the best way. So list document, it says database ID, collection ID, and then queries. So database ID is database ID, copy that and paste it here. Basically, instead of doing it every time, you have constant file where you have all the collections IDs and everything written, and then we have queries. So now how to write queries, I don't know. So let's see if we can get any suggestion. No, I guess key isn't defined queries. Okay, let me see how we can write queries. So get a list of all document in a given collection. You can use the query parameter to filter your result on the admin mode, the endpoint. Learn about different. Okay, So why not go to the documentation? So say app write docs. Okay, database create, no, we don't need that. Web SDK, no, I need a flutter SDK. I don't think you will be able to see it. Now you can. Get document. So document ID. Now let's say I want to update document, no. Delete document, no. Okay, I have to find out queries. So let's write query. Okay, we have only one. Okay, one match. Okay, query optional. Okay, optional array string generated using the query class. Okay, so we need to add a query class item, so it will automatically generate it. So query 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 query, it is not provided. Learn more about queries. Okay, so database id query flutter, we will go to flutter Appwrite. Okay, query equal title avatar. Okay, let's do that. Okay, query dot equal, so for us it will be user id, and then this will be user id. Okay, so this is what we will be searching for. So we will go through all the documents and then we will check whether user id is equal to user id. Fine, we will stop the application and we will rerun it. This will remove this error. Okay, let's go to main.dart. Let's see, let's import it. Okay, we are good to go. Okay, so now we will get the data, right? But what to do with that? So let's get to do, it will get all the response, and then once I get the response, what is the response? List document, it will be list future document list. Okay, so document list models. Okay, now document list. So after the document list, what I should do is return response.documents. Okay, now what is document? Document should be list document down. What is document? Document implementation. Okay, created database. Okay, okay, it will have data, right? So let's go back to the database helper. Now database helper dot documents dot length. Okay, no, I don't need. Okay, so what I will do is I will map it. Yeah, that's a good idea. So instead of doing this, what I will do, response, or I'll say to do, which is our variable. So we have a, okay, no, we don't have a variable here, so it will be return, then it will be response dot document dot map, will map e to list. Now what is e will be the each document, so e dot data, and then we will map each data. So a data will be a map and then it will return the data. Okay, okay, let's go back to the to do list to do's, right? We have already have to do, so we will just get this list to do. I will remove list. Okay, and then we'll say notify listener. Okay, so now that we have this, we will run the application. So we are just doing the basic thing for now. What we are making the app running, we make the app and we make it in such a way that it starts working, and then what we'll do is basically we will add new features and we will use all the features provided by Appwrite and implement it one by one. I'm sure that this app will have some use case or other for each of the functions or each of the features provided by Appwrite. if you if you ask me what I'm more excited about this Appwrite platform is the function part. So basically, if you are using Firebase, the free version, you can't use functions, right? So that's what I would like to see and what we can do with it. The function service allows you to create custom behavior that can be triggered by any supported Appwrite system event or by a predefined schedule. Appwrite Cloud function lets you automatically run backend code in response to event triggered by Appwrite or by setting it to be executed in the predefined schedule. Okay, so let's see what they have done here. So, okay, client, okay, this is the normal stuff. Okay, create execution function ID. Okay, function ID. Mhm, mhm. This endpoint is limited to 60 requests per minute per IP and user account. We use rate limited to avoid service abuse by user as a security protocol. Not a problem. Okay, list execution. Okay, I think we have to make the function here itself. So let's see what we can do. Function name, let's say test function, or let's not venture into this today because that will make the video much longer. Let's go back to our code and wait for the application to build, and then we finish the get item part or the read operation. So as of now, what we have done is we have implemented the login system, we have implemented the sign up function, we have we have done the create method or the create operation from the CRUD uh, list. Yeah, and now we are doing the read operation. I've also created a video to showcase the use of a new platform device, and it's a, like I would say, a less code platform instead of a no code platform. So it helps, basically it helps you to get responsive UI from your Figma design directly, and also creates all the functions for you. So make sure to check out that video, and yeah, if you like it, you can use the platform and make amazing application. Okay, let's go back. So now I need to call that function, right? So let's do one thing here is we'll go to the home screen and then we will create a object of it. So let's say to do provider, to do provider, I'll do a late. So then I will do init state, and then I will say get data, and then here I will just create this function, right? So I will create this method, I will make it async. Okay, and before that what I will do here is basically I will do to do provider equals to provider.context, and then I will import provider. Okay, get data. Here I'll do async. Instead of that, what I will do is I will do await to do get to do. I will not use set state because I'm provider, so why should we use set state, right? So let's remove that. Now basically here what we have to do, instead of this, what I would suggest you to use a consumer. So here I will just remove this whole thing. I will write consumer, and then I will do to do provider. Then I will just return everything for now. Okay. So now here we have this to do, and instead of my type, I will just write to do control. I will just write provider. No, that would not look nice. I would say to do provider. Okay. So now data is empty. Instead of data is empty, it will be to do provider dot to do's dot is empty. Then instead of this, I will just take this itself, and then I just add the length at the end. So length. Okay. So now I, instead of this, instead of data, I will just use this. Okay. So now to do to do index dot title, right? So now where is that to do model? Okay, here title description is done, created at, and then there should be one which is string user id. Okay, then it should also be required. Then I should have a from JSON and to JSON. So I have Copilot, so why to waste time? Yes, and we are done here. So now let's go to the home screen and then go to the to-do provider. So now instead of making this a map dynamic, it will be of to-do model. Okay, we should make our work easier. Okay, so to do, instead of this I will take a to do model, I will add this here. Okay, this will be a to do model. Okay, database dot get to do. Now what is get to do, right? We have to change it to a model, right? So here I will do to do model dot from JSON, and then I will paste it, so it will change it from this, right? So from JSON, let's see. Okay, it will parse the JSON and everything. Fine. Okay, now let's go to the home screen. We have an error here. So to do model, right? Data, we don't need this now, we can forget about it. And then we'll come to this part, and then I will just paste to do dot to do. Okay, trailing data, all done. Okay, now we restart the application. So if you have done everything, if you have done everything correctly, once it restarts it should show some data, right? But it's not. So what's the issue? Okay, let's go to get to do, and let's first see if we have any error or not. Yeah, we have error. Index not found 400. Okay, service.database. Okay, home screen. Okay, to do. Okay, get to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's put a breakpoint out here. Let's restart the app. First I will check whether we have a user ID or not. Okay, we have a user ID. Now we will go to the database and check whether we have the, yeah, we have user ID, right? So let me go inside this and then I use this ID. Okay, this is the key. Okay, query equals to user ID queries. Okay, so let me check whether I get an error here or here, and then I will put, okay, so now we have an error out here. Index not found, user ID, general argument invalid. Okay, let's see. Query, okay, query, then I say less than search string value. What does this do? Attribute, okay, equals attribute dynamic value. Okay, so in our case it should work, right? Query where user ID is this. Okay, let's restart and check. So we have an error. Okay, okay, now what I will do is I will just do a step-by-step process to figure out what's the error. So I will restart that now. So we got the document. In the document, let's see what we have. Document, we have collection id created. Okay, permission, data. Now inside data I have title, description, created at, user ID. Okay, so user ID, right? Let's do this again. What is a query? Okay, Now we will understand how to use query. Let's go back to our documentation again. Database. Okay. Array of queue generated using the queue class provided by SDK. Maximum of 100 queries are allowed. Okay. Flutter. Title query equals title avatar. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Unique. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Dot unique cursor before cursor limit offset order ascending less not equals search. Okay, search maybe. Let's use search. User ID, then it will become user ID. Okay. Okay. I just remove the nullable variable. Okay. Let's see. Again, index not found. User ID. General argument invalid. Okay. Mhm. Let's see some other method. Maybe description. Okay, let's use title. Okay, title and then use title 1 equals. Then what we have title is to do 1. Okay, to do 1. To do 1. Mhm. So it says Appwrite general argument, copy this value. Let's search for it and see why we are getting this error. Okay. So it says 400, right? So 400 bad request. The request was invalid and cannot be otherwise served and accompanied error message. Okay. So what was the error message that we get? We got the error message as index not found. Index not found. Okay. So what options do we have here? Let's see. So database, database, pagination, advanced API key, pagination, events, rate limit, response code, custom domain, webhook, okay, events, permission, no, real time, no, storage, database, okay, database, create collection, permission, create, okay, create document, id dot unique, okay. So they are telling me that you can only query index attribute. Query, okay, so you can only query indexed attribute. You can easily add new index from both the Appwrite console or any of the server SDK. Appwrite uses this limitation to enforce optimized queries for maximum performance and scalability, right? Okay. Okay. Index. I see. Okay, got it. Indexes. Create index. So index key is user ID. Index type is unique. select attribute which is user id, and select order is ascending. I don't need any other attribute, so user id, then create. All fields are required. Okay, which field did I miss? Not I sure. Let me just do it again. Maybe they have a problem with the this thing. So user id key will be unique. Okay, unique. Internal, not internal, it says user id, and then select order ascending, then create. Okay, maybe this will help me. Let's see. So it will be user id, and then I provide the user id. Let's see. Okay, we got the document. So we got this document. Okay, so first of all, general argument invalid. Now this error will not come, right? So that has already, we have solved it. Okay, fine. Yeah, you see. Okay, so now let's add a to do 2. So let's set to do 2 description, description to add. Okay, it says document with requested id already exists. So let's see what we are doing wrong. So to do provider, to do query, database. Okay, database. Now here we are doing is create document. Oh no, not this one. So we have a file that we have created, which is database helper. Get to do is different thing. Create to do. Okay, document id is unique. Document to do one description one. Okay, user id. Okay, okay, I see. Maybe this is the issue. Overview. Maybe I should delete this. Delete. Create index. Then I say user id, index type is key. Attribute would be user id, ascending, create. Okay, I think this was the main issue. So I had selected unique first, so maybe it was not letting me to create a same uh, to do a different to do with the same item, same user id. So let's do test that. To do to description to add to do. Yeah, that was the issue. Now let's restart it, or yeah, we have to restart it for now. Otherwise what we will do is we will add a, what to say, auto fetch. Okay, we will do it in the next video. So here what I will do to check whether it is the right one or not, so instead of e I will write fa and then update. Let's see. Yeah, that's working fine. I will revert it back to e, and then we'll update that and then restart. Yeah, so we have completed the read operation from the database of Appwrite. So that was it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one with the delete operation and the edit operation. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and bye bye.